Ladies and gentlemen, podcasting since 2005 with over 3 million downloads. You are listening to Gamer Tag Radio with your hosts Godfrey, Pete Rock, Paris, Pasta. Come on. Please welcome your host.
Welcome to Gamer Tag Radio episode 465. This is your host Godfrey, and with me this week we have Pete Rock in the house. Pete,
yo,
the Salt Man. He loves
Salty.
the word salt. Yes.
Captain Salty, ahead of my time.
Ahead of your time. Yes. How's everything, man?
Fantastic.
All right. Awesome, man. And we also have Poston J.
Hey. How you guys doing tonight?
What's going on, Poston?
Doing good. Not too much going on. Just enjoying my January, waiting for my big AAA games to start coming out. And what do you know? They're right around the corner.
Yeah, right there. Next month.
Yeah, exciting. Well, for me, my big thing comes out at the end of this month, but for most other people,
this is the G-rated show.
There's a lot more stuff coming out in February for sure. And then March is going to be insane. April, May. And of course, everyone already knows this song and dance.
What's coming on this month for you?
Dying Light for me. I'm a huge zombie buff guy, and I felt like, that's kind of the one game that's been missing from the next-gen libraries is where's my good zombie killing simulator? Because the new Call of Duty's, DLC, that's cool and all, but that's just rehashing what Herrick's been doing for 5 years now, and I want something fresh, and Dying Light looks like the kind of game right up my alley, so well, hopefully it'll be good. I'm excited. Looked good at E3. Right.
Yeah, it was fun. And also this week, we also have Paris.
I'm starting to get a little offended that week after week we do this podcast and you always introduce me last.
Isn't it best for last?
No, I'm offended. Put me in the middle.
You want to be in the middle?
I want equal rights, damn it. I don't want treatment, and I don't want to be last.
Equal rights? The hell? It's all good, man. How's everything, man?
Everything's good. It's all good. We I think we have some interesting topics this week, so it should be a good week.
But first, Paris,
and you got a puppy. So
that's what I was going to say.
You already got your puppy, so shut up.
Oh,
yeah.
Give a shout out to your puppy, man.
Yeah. We got a little puppy. We got Duke. He's a lab. Okay, he's a pure mutt. He's a lab pit bull mastiff mix.
Wow.
But I'm telling you, he is just the chillest dog I've ever had. He's just so chill. He listens to commands already. He's a great dog. He got me up at 1:45 this morning because he had to go poo-poo, and then he barked at me at 8 o'clock this morning when I came back home for dropping off my kids. So he's a perfect dog.
He's like, what up?
Yeah, good.
Awesome, man.
He's already saying 4-3 Paris. Love it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, man. All right, guys, head over to gamertagradio.com, post your comments and feedback, and also listen to our past episodes of GTR. Give us a call, 786-273-7GTR. That's 786-273-7GTR. Email us, fanmail@gamertagradio.com. We have a couple questions, which we're going to save it for the end of the show. Yeah, so Pete, I know we have some shout-outs, man. Because last week we talked about, if we could get donations from the listeners. And we got a lot of support. So, shout-outs, man, for those that donated.
Shout out to Curtis Lewis and Johnny Marshall for dropping $4 and $5 respectively. And a big shout-out, high five, daps, and a bro hug to Eddie Beal dropping 100 bones.
Awesome, man. That's pretty cool, right?
Thank you. Like honestly, I'm kind of making light of it, but I mean, $4, $5. That's all we were really expecting for somebody to really dig deep and drop 100 bones. I mean, that's for a lot of people. I mean, I know Paris is a baller. He's the engineer over here, but $100 is $100. Regardless of what pay scale and tax bracket you're in. So big shout out and thank you for that. I mean, regardless of whatever you donate, if it's 50 cents or $100, it still means a lot to us. It means that A, you're listening and, hey, it counts for something. Yeah. And that B, you took time out of your personal schedule to dig deep into your own pockets and help us out. So, we really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, help us out, man. Future we're planning to go to E3 and they help us, pay the bills here for hosting and everything. So, and for the free app too. We pay for that too, man, extra. So
pay for Danny's internet. So,
oh my God.
And side note, I'd just like to say on that last one, first of all, thank you everybody that's donated. As far as Eddie goes, I consider Eddie a friend. Eddie's a part of, used to be a part of our Destiny crew. He is taking a hiatus. We'll see if that's permanent or not. I doubt it, but thank you, Eddie. That was very generous of you, and just everybody that donates. Just thank you, because like Danny said, it just helps us keep the podcast going and attend events and bring all that coverage that you guys seem to like.
Definitely, man. So remember, if you guys want to donate, head over to our website, gamertagradio.com. There's the donate button is right there, or you can send it if you have a PayPal account or whatever. You don't need a PayPal account for that, right? No, you don't. No, send it to fanmail@gamertagradio.com. And thanks, guys. Shout out to our GTR community, man. You guys rock. All right, so this week, Microsoft had a big, huge event, which they revealed a lot of stuff for Windows 10. And I know, once again, the fanboys himself, Paris and Pete Rock here, huge Windows fans here. Talk about it. I know you guys.
I'll say this. I'll say this. All jokes aside. Not a fan of Windows 8 at all. Never have been. I think it's next to Windows ME. Might be one of the worst operating systems Microsoft has put out. But
worse than Vista.
Worse than Vista's really 7. You 7 is really just Service Pack 2 of Vista. Really.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, bare bones. But my point is, just 8 was a step in the wrong direction for Microsoft. I don't know what they were thinking, but looking at with the preview for 10, and then obviously this event that came out and all the features that they're talking about for Windows 10, I'm going to try it out. I can see me installing it and running it and, giving it a go. The fact that it's intrigued me enough to even halfway consider a Surface tablet should say a lot. I mean, because I've not cared about a Surface tablet at all since it's come out, but kind of seeing what they're doing in the mobile space and the way I'll be able to flip-flop back and forth between mobile and a desktop environment with the Surface, I'm considering it. I'm really thinking about it. So when all that stuff comes out, I will definitely be keeping my eye on it.
What about you, Pete?
I mean, there was a bunch of things that they brought out. I mean, one of the biggest things that a lot of people are talking about is the overall, there's no longer an individual name or a moniker or code name for softwares or releases. They're following, I want to say, the Apple iOS concept, but I think they made it more homogenous with Windows, where they're just, everything is Windows 10 from here on out. So regardless of whether you have a phone or a laptop or a Surface tablet or eventually an Xbox One, according to sources, you will have Windows X whatever on your machine. So, and that follows you through on all your things, and it kind of makes sense. I kind of dig where they went with the HoloLens concept, which is literally a Big Brother version of the Kinect. I believe it was it's one of the brainchilds of the guy who brought the Kinect to Xbox. Rest in peace. But I like what they did with that. That was a really cool concept. One of the other things that they brought up was hopefully they can get it to work, is the whole, you can stream from your Xbox to your Windows 10 device, whether it's a laptop or a desktop. And I don't know if Surface is in there yet. I think they did mention that you could stream from the Xbox to the PC, I think to any Windows 10 device, I think. I'm not 100% sure. But I know for sure the PC, and what they are trying to do, which I think they are going to do this, is to get PC games to stream to the Xbox One. If that happens,
it's going to happen.
Changer. It's going to happen. Yeah. I would totally invest in something like that.
That's happening.
Yeah, I think they're waiting. I think they're waiting for maybe to announce this after GTC, because I think they're waiting for Valve to see what they're going to show for that, because Valve is planning to announce a lot of things during GDC to promote the Steam box.
Can we sidetrack into that really quick on the Steam stuff, and we can circle back into what Microsoft's doing?
Sure.
This announcement for me, and I don't know how you guys feel, and obviously I'm a Steam guy. I mean, I play PC games and all that, but in a way, it's Microsoft embracing Steam, and at the same time, they're killing the Steam box, because what they're doing is if you have an Xbox One, and I truly think this is going to come to the 360 as well. If you have an Xbox One or an Xbox 360, it basically just becomes the client that's sitting under your television. Your PC sits in your office or wherever it is in your house. You have all your games on that, and you stream it back to the Xbox 360 or Xbox One, and you're playing your games. Fundamentally, that's what Valve has been trying to do with the Steam box, is bring the PC experience to the television, to the living room. So Microsoft effectively is doing this. And then the vice versa is they're going to be able to bring their Xbox One games into your office and put that on your PC as well. So like, I was joking after the announcement, I could play Halo 5 in my office, versus having to play it out in the living room. So I think this is a lot bigger than people are realizing on the surface. And I know Phil Spencer has hinted towards some stuff after the event and everything, but what's the point of getting a Steam box? Why would you get one at this point? I guess that's the question I'm saying. Maybe the controller, it's still going to be relevant, but I'm wondering why anyone would want to invest in Steam OS and why developers would want to invest the time and effort into porting their games over to Linux in the first place.
One of the other things that they brought in, and it's kind of like segueing back to the Windows side, is it makes it a lot easier for people instead of having to go and get the whole Steam OS thing. And if they want to do it themselves, they can, or if they want to do something similar to what we reviewed last week with the Alpha, is Windows 10 is now a free upgrade for the first year after it gets launched for anybody using Windows 7 or Windows 8.1. So that gives you an automatic step up to Windows 10, gratis, free, de nada, no money, $0. That's a great way to bring people back over and say, look, we know you might be thinking about that Steam box, but why don't you just upgrade to Windows 10 and you can have all these other interactions, applications and game streaming to your PC without having to do all the extra legwork. Well, you already got a PC, right?
And also, I like the whole concept of universal apps. I think that's going to
actually helps, which is big for us, because then that means our GTR app, which is out on Windows Phone, is now available on your desktop or laptop
and also available for Windows 8 too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
well, here's the bigger. I'm sorry, Pete, but here's the bigger picture.
You're cutting Pete? Are you cutting Pete?
I apologize.
Pete, say something. Pete, say something.
Danny, hear the key words. I'm sorry, Pete, that I'm cutting you off. You don't do that. No, but what I wanted to say real quick, again, just to bringing up the universal apps, and like Pete's bringing up the fact that they're encouraging everyone to upgrade to Windows 10 by giving away for free in the first year, is they're going with one platform. Basically, whether you're on a phone, you're on a tablet, you're on a desktop, you're on a console, it's one platform. Any apps you download work across all platforms. That's what the end game of this is going to be, and that's where they're going. They're going for just the unified service where it doesn't matter what the hardware is, the software is synonymous just across the board. And I think that's the big thing to come out of this. And obviously, being a gaming podcast, we're focusing on the gaming aspect of it, but even in a production environment, this is pretty big. They're doing what Apple should have done a couple years ago with iOS and OS 10 and just make it work across the board. They've still not done that yet. And it looks like Microsoft just might beat them to the punch, which is pretty big.
Man, what about you, Paulson? Because you've been kind of quiet. I know you I think, don't you have a PC or no?
Yeah, I'm a Windows guy for sure. Definitely not as hardcore as Peter Paris are, but
fanboys, they're fanboys. Remember that?
I won't use the F word that strongly, but I mean, I respect the passion. I enjoy the Windows platforms, but really, like, I'm not the kind of person that's really into the cutting edge operating systems for anything, Android, Windows, Apple. So it'll be cool to see if what pans out, like what they're saying with 10. That's fascinating. If we really can get a system where we can use the PC and the console to hook up and basically get PC games that are, almost impossible to play if you're not a hardcore gamer and don't know the setup to buy or buying the right parts. If I can have access to those games through an Xbox, I mean, that's huge. I mean, I know a lot of people that would, still haven't figured out what console they want yet. That could be a big game changer because, there's still people, myself included, that, would love to get into hardcore PC gaming one day, but it's just not feasible right now. So if this is the step over, I'm totally fine with the death of the Steam machine, because, I was, for the longest time, as a great in theory, but I would never be able to probably decide which model I wanted. Am I getting the best value for my money? I should probably just build it myself at that point. So if this technology is all on the up and up, and they're putting good work into it, and something pans out, hopefully we can see more in the next year. I'm on board. It looks exciting, and I'm definitely going to sign up for the free Windows 10 upgrade because I've been using 7 for a while now. I had no complaints about it. So, yep, more updates. Good with me.
That's the thing too. That Steambox. There's so many different ones. Like that has different prices. A lot of
from multiple companies, and just it never was clear messaging and
very confusing.
Yeah.
Very confusing.
I want the Steam controller. I know it's probably going to go through a lot of iterations until they get something that's marketable for what can be sold. But at least I'm still interested in that product if they're willing to go the extra distance to get that done. But at this point, I guess my idea of a Steam machine was always vaporware to begin with, so I never really expected them to fully deliver on, I guess, what the promise could have been, but that's my expectations being too high. So this seems more logical. And again, there's a lot of cool things on the PC pipeline that we may or may not get next-gen ports of, but this would be a lot cooler, because I'd rather just support the PC developers as quickly as I can without having to wait for some other company to come in and be hired to port on something that may not be the quality the original developers wanted it to be. So this is great. And if this can come more where I can get more of the more faster non-Microsoft certified updates for some things, that would be great too. Because I wish they would kind of lay off on how strict they are with their scheduling, their timelines, and the finances. Because a lot of developers, I'm sure, would love to have a quicker Steam-like pipeline to keep their games updated. I mean, God knows things like Destiny could use something like that doesn't have such certification process to wait for. I know, right? Saying bad things about Destiny, but I still play it every day and I love it, but it still needs work. But no, yeah, just overall, I'm excited for Windows 10. It seems cool. It might get me in the market for a Windows phone at some point down the line. I love my Android right now, but I would kind of love some cross compatibility between my phone and my hardware. But that's looking forward in the future. We'll have to see what they have in store.
And some more of the compatibility features that they released was being able to see your achievements and your videos that you've recorded while playing on your desktop. You can record from the PC. And the one that I really, really dig is the ability to chat with people on Xbox Live via my desktop. I'm not restricted to my app, the Smart Glass app, or God forbid if I go through the horrendous, trying to do a conversation while you're playing on your Xbox One. That's probably the worst way that they could have ever done it, is made it so kludgy and difficult to navigate and get a conversation going with your friends. With the whole chat thing. It just doesn't work well, or doesn't work as well as it did in Xbox 360. The one just made it a little bit more convoluted. Doing this and me being able to do it and not just be restricted to, my Smart Glass app, but being able to do it from my desktop or what have you, just be able to chat nonstop. That's really cool. I like that.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
You're listening to Gamer Tag Radio.
Well, there's one thing, though, that we haven't talked about. Paris.
Oh, Jesus.
The shirt that Phil Spencer was rocking that day. What was it?
He was rocking a Battletoad shirt.
Oh, okay. All right. Just a reminder.
No. It's
he didn't say anything about the game.
Yeah, he didn't say a word. And when he doesn't say, and when he doesn't say a word about the game at E3, you'll be wearing some Florida State gear. Just Tomahawk all down the convention center. That's all I'm saying.
You hear that? No, but honestly, it's obvious. It's coming. It's coming. And I think it's going to be more than one game from Rare.
You want like a collection from them?
I don't know about collection. I think they might, definitely announce a new Battletoad game, but they might have another game coming.
Like last week, I said it. A new IP. Yeah. I fully expect a new IP from Rare at E3.
New IP, I think, is a return maybe of another.
Okay. Let's talk about it for a second. Then what's the point of Rare? If Rare can't do anything original, why even keep them around? If all they can do is keep pumping out remakes of remakes of remakes, then what's the point? Put out something original. You can't live off of Conquer, Banjo, and Perfect Dark, for the rest of their lives. They need to do something original. I would very much
Danny wants a Jet Force Gemini game. That's what he wants.
Yeah, I know. Which you know what? Going back in the day, and this might sound blasphemous, but I never liked Jet Force Gemini. I didn't think it was that good.
In defense, I'll say it's a kid's game, so I don't think like your generation matched up, Paris. So I can understand where you're coming from.
My generation.
Wow.
I'm serious though, because I felt a little old when I played the game. I'm like, this is pretty kiddish.
I was a youth when it came out,
but I was more of a youth, is what I'm saying. I can just relate where you're coming
shots
from.
fired. Hey, can we get police sent over to California and check on the Paris Lily residents, please?
Shots fired. Wow. Damn, Posse, you're mean. It's okay.
I wasn't
Paris.
trying to be mean. I'm just understanding where he's coming from. So Jet Force Gemini fans don't, jump all over him. Because the Rare fans are very passionate. I understand
Wait, how
that.
old
But
was
Gemini
that?
is not my favorite.
Was that 99? Was that 99?
Something like that, yeah.
Probably. I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember being a kid, and I know you're older than me, so I just did the math. But hey, man, if you didn't like it, that's cool. I respect
Old
that.
plus old equals Paris. There we go.
I would have been 26. I was still a young guy. Get out of here. I don't buy that.
Paris is still older than what Pawson is now.
What about this one? Remember that game that Rare released their first game for the Xbox, from the original Xbox?
Oh,
wasn't that oh my God, what's the name of it?
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about? It's kind of like Luigi Mansion, like that.
Grabbed by the ghoulies.
The ghoulies.
Oh, yeah.
Grabbed by the ghoulie. Oh,
Yeah. Well, it was
Nobody
pretty
remembers
crappy,
that. Don't
game.
even lie. None of y'all remember that except for Danny.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that title, but I mean,
Hello, I've always been a fan of Rare, so when
Yeah,
I found out that they were going to release that game, their first game, I was like, what? And I played, I was like, ugh, this game is bad. I didn't like it at all.
yeah.
I remember it going in the Wayback Machine. The first E3 I went to, I remember seeing Cameo and Perfect Dark on the Nintendo 64.
Wait, Cameo was on the Nintendo 64?
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, and what became Perfect Dark Zero was on the Nintendo 64. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
And I remember reading it like on EGM and stuff like that at that time. Yeah. Man. See, Paris, old people forget.
Yeah.
You're not old. You can remember things. That's good.
Experienced. There you go.
Pawson just said a few
Seasoned.
minutes ago that Pawson, he said they forgot, a couple of things, but see, and he's younger than us. How dare you, Pawson?
Oh wow, they're under the bus here.
So
Jesus.
Mess with me too. Yo, well, here's some good news. Elder Scrolls Online coming out for the next gen consoles. No subscription.
Yeah, we said that last week.
Well, that was one of the questions, but we weren't sure. But now this is like official. Like they announced it.
Hey,
That
when
is
no one
official.
buys your game, this is what happens to an MMO. It becomes free to play.
Yeah, that's true.
Brutal,
But see, even if they, let's say, it sold a lot on PC, I think that wouldn't work for like a console thing, man.
I do. I absolutely.
Name me a game that you still play paying. monthly.
Okay, Danny. So you're telling me if Blizzard brought World of Warcraft to the console, they'd have to make it free to play. That's what you're telling me.
Paris, that's a different game.
You just said it wouldn't work, and I just gave you an example of it working, and now
No,
you said,
I'm
"Now that
talking
don't
about.
count."
Okay, let's give me one. Like, let's say Final Fantasy Square. They tried. It still is a flop. I think it's a flop.
Well, I'll defend it. It's much better than what it used to be. So if you like that style of game, it's fun.
Paying. That people are actually paying monthly for a long time.
Yeah, if you're hardcore enough into that style of game, then yeah, I can understand that. But I mean, at one point, I want to agree with Paris. I would love to see WoW on consoles, but at this point, what it is now versus what it started as, I don't even know if they could design the game.
Oh no, and I don't think so either. But I was just using it as an example. Look, I will still go back. Look, since I'm so seasoned and old here, I'll still go back to True Fantasy Online. I was ready to throw my money at Microsoft
same
to put
way
that game out.
I was all on board.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I did that for Fantasy Star Online.
I did that
and
too.
I was ready to do the same for that game too, the True Fantasy Online. But let me ask you, if it was Destiny, would you?
I was just going to bring that up. Not the way it currently is. They would have to have a more steady stream of content coming in. But if they did, I could see me spending $10 a month to play it. I probably
15.
I don't know. Maybe 10.
Maybe 10. I don't know.
15
It's kind of
a little high.
Yeah, I can
Pete,
see
will you
that.
do it? Will you pay for Destiny if it was online, like subscription wise?
I'm not even gonna front. I probably would.
My god!
I spend money. I spend more than that on a month on stupid shit that I don't get a return on investment. So why not?
I look at it this way.
You know, I pay $20 for a gym membership I don't even go to. So why not? Whatever. It's just another $10, right?
And I don't want to make this the Destiny talk because I try to avoid talking about Destiny on here as much as possible. But if Destiny was with all these expansions and everything that we're going to have to pay for coming out, if it was just the flat $10, $15 a month, and I knew this game was going to be around for 10 years and there was going to be the steady stream of content coming in, I'd probably just pay it. I played enough.
Wow. Plus your Xbox Live and PSN Plus.
Yeah. And you know, we've had this argument a million times. Honestly, those fees they just are. They're just a part of owning a console. I don't even think about it, to be honest.
No, I'm not mad at that. I'm saying like you're paying that and you're paying for a game subscription. To me it's too much, I think.
If the content's there regularly and it's based around the schedule of the most hardcore, I think it's kind of where Destiny loses out on that because they try to appeal to everybody. But the types of people that play it every day, they want a certain kind of content and you kind of need to cater towards that. So yeah, I think a monthly subscription plan would better support that idea because there's plenty of, you know, whatever you want to call them, the 1% of Destiny players that are the super hardcore raiders that would be all on board for that because to them, there's not enough content. Like the game is progressing too slowly because it's going the traditional console route of one expansion pack, wait 3 months, one expansion pack. And for MMO players, you know, that's not that good, honestly. I mean, we kind of want constant updates here and there and here and there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of think that's a better future. But again, I would have to reevaluate Destiny a year from now to see, like, you know, what's their 1 year vision for the game, and then decide, all right, is this system working? Do I feel satisfied, or have I spent the last year just waiting for long periods of time to be, all right, I can play Destiny again, and then I ran out of content and you just wait. That's the worst part about MMO. Is a lot of reason why people stop playing them is just they can't find anything to do. They're just too ahead of the curve. So Destiny, I think, should think about stepping up production. And I don't think I want it to be traditional Destiny 2. You go buy retail. I think a subscription model just makes more sense in the long term because there's so much possibility there and potential. We know it, and we just need a faster way to get it to us. And these expansions so far, I don't think it's going to work long term. It's too slow. But we'll see.
All right, so let's talk about this, man. What happened? That what? What happened?
Nothing. You literally have two of the top 2% Destiny players on the planet on this podcast, and he was trashing it. So I just said,
So there's a rumor that the next Call of Duty game, it's going to be World at War 2. It's going to be revealed this May, which I kind of find it strange because I believe it was a community manager from Xbox Canada. He posted this image which has a Roman numeral that says 2, and that's it. So people were figuring out, wait a minute, are they planning to announce this in May, Microsoft and Activision? Because every year, that's around that time that they always reveal the new game. They did it last year. They did it also the year before, which Paris went to that one. What are you guys, your thoughts about this happening in May? Do you think it's true? If so, your thoughts about the game, if it's the second part of that game.
I'm fine with it because I'm sick of them going to the future. So, you know, they haven't gone to World War II in a while. So revisiting that might actually seem fresh at this point. So I'm fine with it.
How long have it been like that already with the whole futuristic shooter?
Well, remember, that goes back and forth. I mean, they've tried to keep it somewhat in the now, but God forbid somebody go and start, you know, we start attacking North Korea because then, you know, Sony and the North Koreans, we're going to have another interview incident. Yes, it was the Xbox Canada community manager that did it. Of course, later he recanted and said it wasn't an official image. It was an unofficial Xbox image, you know. There is, if you dig deeper into the picture that he tweeted, there's supposed to be Morse code, and it was actually decoded, and it says presented by Xbox 10 a.m. May 4th, 2015. The thing that kind of gets me confused is May 4th. May the 4th typically or synonymously is, the May the Force be with you, Star Wars theme. So the person inside of me would maybe see maybe Battlefront 2 or something. Highly unlikely. I'd rather see a Star Wars 1313. But I just find it weird that they're using May 4th, kind of like a Star Wars day, to jump into as an announcement for another game.
I think it's Call of Duty.
I think it's coincidence. Yeah, I don't know. Not that many people celebrate, the 4th. Other than,
and it is Treyarch's year this year to drop the Call of Duty game, because last year's was Infinity Ward, and we all know that
Sledgehammer was last year.
Sledgehammer,
was it?
Yeah.
Infinity was
it's true. It's no longer, so whatever.
No, they're still around. They did Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yeah,
but they split. Isn't it a split?
No, Sledgehammer. They basically split into 3 studios. You got Infinity Ward, you got Sledgehammer, you got Treyarch. Treyarch has taken the mantle of being the lead studio now.
Wow, how has changed, huh?
Yeah,
I think they earned it. They made a stellar set of really good games, created new possibilities for Call of Duty, and logical next steps. I mean, was finally, I think, the year that Call of Duty tripped a little, because a lot of people were just like, it's the same, and it's fun, but yeah, I kind of would love some innovation at this point. Certainly something outside the box. So yeah, I think going back to World War II is a really good idea.
And wasn't there a World at War event just a week ago or something like that? Allegedly.
What? Really? Where?
That's what I've. It's. Hold on a second.
On the moon?
No, it was an alleged from reading on N4G and whatever.
Well, there was a Witcher 3 event. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Yeah, that was a Witcher. Yeah, you're way off, Pete. Way too early. Way too early.
But hopefully we get
it good,
because I'd love to see more of the game.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
This is Gamer Tag Radio. Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
Well, all right, guys. So we're gonna play this podcast exclusive interview with one of my good friends, DJ EFN. I know last week you had a question, about why we haven't, put on no hip hop tracks and stuff like that. I did mention that I was planning to record an interview with a pretty big DJ from Miami, Florida. And he invited me to check out his new album, which is coming out, I believe, in March. And man, he has a lot of people that's going to be part of this album, a lot of rappers. And I want you guys to listen to the interview. He mentions who they are. I want you to be surprised and everything. And it's classic. There's one track that really surprised me, and I talked about it in our interview. It's called Paradise. Huge song. But when I was there listening to the album, I was there with a couple people. Razzcast was there, Murs, Mayday, Scam. Scam was there too. For those that don't know about Scam, he's a underground legend, in my opinion, because he had a song with Eminem a long time ago when M was still unsigned and stuff way back, and he was also the one that designed his first album, Slim Shady LP. He was the one that designed the cover and stuff. And remember this song Stan? Eminem mentions him in that song, so he's pretty up there, man. And he, I believe, also designed the album cover of Tribe Called Quest. Oh my God, was it the third album? Which one's the one with Faith? No, not Love Movement. The one before that. Beats,
Beats, Rhymes, and Life.
Yeah, Beats, Rhymes, and Life.
Yeah, he designed that album cover. So that was pretty cool. He was there. Moni Love was there too. A bunch of people, man. It was a great vibe. And shout out to your friend. I personally, I think it's a classic, like a Miami hip hop classic. You guys definitely gotta check it out. And if you like it, support it. So I'm gonna play this interview right now. And once we come back, Poston, are you gonna review Resident Evil HD this week?
That I am. And
Pete, any Saints Row stuff?
Yeah, I guess I'll talk about this little game called Saints Row Get Out of Hell. Talk about that after the interview.
Okay, and also we have fan mail, so we'll be right back after this.
This is a Gamer Tag Radio exclusive.
All right, so we're here now with DJ EFN. By the way, this is a podcast exclusive. We just finished listening to DJ EFN's new album. For those that don't know, he's a hip-hop legend here in Miami, Florida. And present yourself to the listeners out there, man.
Well, like you said, my name is DJ EFN. I'm the self-proclaimed Miami mixtape king. Well, not self-proclaimed because people labeled me that in the industry, but I'm like one of the first consistent mixtape DJs out of Miami. Not the only one, but one of the first consistent ones in the early 90s. So that's how I got my claim to fame. And I run the company Crazy Hood Productions, and we've been basically very involved in the local Miami hip-hop scene. And as of local, we've done a lot of national stuff since, the early 90s.
Yo, I have to say, man, look, I'm picky with albums. I'm picky. But this, to me, is like a Miami classic. Like, I'm really proud of you, man, because it's been a long time. Like, I know you've been working really hard with a lot of projects and your mixtapes and stuff, but I was like, man, he should finally, like, release an album. So when I heard that you were working on it, I was like, man, let's see how it is. Because, I mean, sometimes people work on projects and it's kind of like, it's all right. But let me tell you, man, it is a classic. Like, I'm very, very, like, proud of you, man, for that, man.
Thanks, man. I mean, not to downplay it, but what I tell people is it is a passion project, which is an easy way to downplay something. Yeah. But it really is. Like, obviously, I'm not on no major label. It's Crazy Hood Productions all day long. And it really was relying on my network, on my relationships from my mixtape days, and just really, relying on a lot of people just doing it for the cause, like for the love of it, just like they did with the mixtapes. Like, I wasn't trying to go out there and pay all kinds of people, I just don't have the money for it. Like, if I had the money, I'll pay Jay-Z to get on a record, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not that dude. But I wanted to finally do my own all original album, based on my mixtape history. A lot of mixtape DJs have done it, like the Dramas, like the Khaled's and the K-Slays and the Clues. And I never got around to doing it, and I really wanted to do it. So I was like, I'm gonna do it. And this is what you heard today. It's called Another Time.
Yeah. Let me tell you, like, it doesn't sound like force. A lot of people that worked on albums where MCs are not in the same area, in the local area, they're probably recorded like at home in a different studio. And it sounded like everybody felt the vibe, and everybody was like, like they could see the vision with this album, So my favorite track as of right now is the Paradise with Talib Kweli, Rec, and I believe Redman, right? Who produced that beat?
Miami Beatwave.
Man, that track.
No, I'm lying to you. The Gill. I'm sorry. Okay. Formerly Miami Beatwave, now The Gill.
When I was listening to the track for the first time, I looked at E. I'm like, yo, dude, I got goosebumps, yo. And when it's like that, to me, it's like, it's official. That, like, I stamp it.
That beat reminded me of a Tribe Called Quest type of beat.
Yeah.
After the disco part, the sample, and then it went into the beat. Yeah. It was like Tribe Called Questy. Yeah. Like, ideally, I wanted Q-Tip on that record.
Oh, that would have been bananas. Yeah. But see, the thing is too, like, the thing that I really like about this album is, like, we grew up in the hip hop 90s, like during that era, and yeah, you also have like the new cat, so it doesn't sound like, hey, I'm an old school cat. Like, I just want to put like a bunch of old school heads and stuff, but it sounds perfect, man. Like, if there's MCs that the young crowd don't know, they could probably do their research, but the music is just like, it's dope, man. It's dope.
I mean, I really felt that I wanted to do what I did on mixtapes, and what I feel that at least mixtape DJs, I can't speak for all DJs, but I really think that mixtape DJs, what we were doing is we kind of like were the tastemakers, and we're telling people what was dope, and whether it was who was dope from the past and who was dope new, that's what mixtape DJs did. So if a new kid was listening to a mixtape and this guy played an EPMD track, he was like, the new kid might not know who EPMD was, but he's like, oh, but DJ so-and-so played it, so it must be dope. And then he also played the new kid from the hood, from that neighborhood, like, yo, this is MC so-and-so. And then that same young kid was discovering a new kid. So that's what the theme was overall for my project. I wanted to mix and match veterans in the game that I grew up on, and even before my time, and put new artists that are coming up now and new Miami artists as well. Like, I really was trying to cover all bases. So you're getting veterans in the game, new artists in the game, and I'm also repping Miami, but Miami hip hop that I come from, the era that I come from, Miami hip hop.
Can you explain to listeners like the artists that you have in this album?
I mean, it varies so much, but it's
a lot that I can't remember. There's so many.
We have Talib Kweli, Redman, Mayday, Bum B, Gunplay, Denzel Curry, Jaron Benton, fucking King T, MC8, Blue, Fashawn, Smith & Wesson, Spraga Benz, Sizzla, David Banner, Nori, John Connor, and we can keep going.
And what about producers?
I mean, I try to keep it very local, and this was really a budgetary thing, but also to put on my peoples. So most of the production is handled by my crew. So I have my boy Nomadic Tracks, who co-manages Mayday with me, and Andrea, and then I have my boy Beats in the Hood, which is my boy Boris, one of the young cats in our crew, and Drain, Big Drain, who's also a producer in our crew. But some of the dope production stuff that's like a feature is I have DJ Premier and Buck Wild. So to me that's huge.
How challenging was it to get everybody involved with the project, like, and how long it took you to get everybody to work on this?
It was, I'm not gonna lie, it was challenging. It took half a year to put this project together. In the beginning, it was a very slow start because I hadn't been doing mixtapes actively for a while, so I wasn't fresh in the game. And on top of that, when I was doing mixtapes, I was needed by the labels and by the artists because radio or whatever, they needed the mixtapes to promote these artists. You have the internet for that now. So I'm not a necessity for these people. They don't need to do shit for me anymore, So I was really relying heavily on my relationships or on the overall theme. And it's like, yo, do research on me. If you don't know me, this is what I'm trying to do. Research me and f with me if you want to f with me. If you don't want to f with me. And, I would tell you that 9 out of 10 times, the artist was very receptive. Either they knew me or I'm cool with them or I had a relationship with them or there was some history with them and they f with me. And if I didn't have a history with them, they took the time to do some research on who I was. They listened to the track that I was and what I was trying to do, and they f with me. And that's what created this project.
And I mean, what's next now? You already finished the album. Out of those tracks, like which one are you going to pick like to be like the main single to promote the album? Any music videos that you plan to do or like how are you going to market this album?
Music videos are challenging because there's so many artists in different regions or different things, and it's a scheduling problem. But I have a music video coming out for the Gunplay Denzel Curry joint, which is a local artist, that I can access here, and we already actually did that video. It's going to be the second release from the project. I'm doing an animated video for the premiere record, and then I'm trying to do a video for Paradise.
I see that. I see that. I see that.
I'm trying to do that video. I can't promise that'll happen. Yeah. So that's it for videos. Everything. It's too much. It's too much to deal with to try to do videos for anything else. But we're starting our campaign January 21st, and every week starting from January 21st, we are releasing a single to blasting it to the blogs, the press. And I'm doing a whole press run with this, and and then the album comes out March 3rd. And we're putting out limited cassette tapes to pay homage to my mixtape path.
I need a cassette.
Yeah, the cassette. I'm excited for the cassette.
And I can't wait for the artwork too, man. Which you haven't mentioned who's going to work on the cover. Yeah,
so Scam did the artworks. For those who don't know who Scam is, it's the dude who did the first Eminem project, the artwork. He did a song with Eminem. He's on the song. They talk about him in the song Stan. Yeah. He did artwork he did Tribe Called Quest, Beats, Rhyme, and Life, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, yeah, that's a dope cover. Yeah.
So Scam is legendary, and he's from Miami. He's from Carroll City. He's Dade County. And he created our mascot from our first album that we ever released under our label Crazy Hood, which is this character called Norm, based on Norman Bates. Not based on Norman Bates, but I gave him the name Norm because of Norman Bates is Crazy. So it's based on Crazy Hood Productions. Our slogan is Who's Crazy, and it's this guy that got he got sent to an asylum, an insane asylum. And we're gonna tell you his story of how he became crazy. And in the album cover depicts him. In the last time you saw Norm, if you follow us, and you can go back and do this research, it was a Garcia project called Off the Beaten Path. Norm broke out of the asylum. And in my project, the cover, he went home. And when he got home and he's sitting in his room, you're going to see paraphernalia all over his room from the 90s, from 93. And there's a calendar that says May 93. This is the year that I created Crazy Productions. And Norm is realizing, holy shit, I've been in the asylum since, like, he didn't know he was in it that long. Like, he thinks it's still 93. Okay. So you see album covers from 93 and the album, and in my cover. Yeah.
Do you miss making mixtapes, man? Do you miss that? Because, nowadays, the mixtapes game, like, it doesn't sound the same, like, how it used to be back then, do you miss that?
I miss mixtape culture, yes. Yeah. But it can't happen. We can't go back to that because there was two different cultures that I grew up in. There was vinyl culture, and you could get exclusives on vinyl. They were called white labels. And I would drive miles. I would go to Atlanta or New Jersey or New York driving just to go record hunting, to find something that nobody had in Miami, and then later on when the label started to recognize me, they would send me these white label presses that were only exclusives for certain DJs in certain regions. And then the next level of mixtapes was you had a DAT machine, and the artists would make these DAT copies of certain leaks, and they would only make like 10 copies for 10 regions of the country. And then you had these exclusive leaks straight from the studio. And then also the artist would do freestyles for you. That's the two mixtape cultures that I came from, that we can't go back to that because now artists don't rely on mixtape DJs because there wasn't radio as prevalent as it was. Hip hop wasn't as mainstream as it was. So they really relied on us to really build an underground presence for these artists. That doesn't exist anymore, and it will never exist anymore.
And now it's all about the internet and all that stuff. But the good thing is that, now that you have this album, I know it's independently, right? Yeah. This is going to help you get the word out probably a lot easier than back in the days and stuff. But any plans, like, how are you going to, like, spread the word? Like, this is just going to be maybe just, hopefully it will go viral and just word them out from the blogs and everything, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, look, man, I don't have any
okay, go over.
I don't have any preconceived notions or any high expectations because we live in an age where people put out mixtapes and albums like it ain't anymore, so I could put it out and people could be like, cool. And then the next day it's the next project. All I care about is that I enjoy doing this project. It's a passion project. I'm happy that I did it, and I'm going to put it out for people, and hopefully they receive it well. But other than that, like, I really don't have high expectations because I don't have high expectations of the audience anymore because there's just too much bombarding the audience. Yeah. It's like, I don't even blame the audience anymore. It's too much. Like, I tell people, blogs are the new mixtapes. But the problem is that there's tracks being released every second.
It's hard to keep up, not going to lie.
Can't keep up. So what sucks for people creating, especially if they're curating something like what I did, you're working on something for like a year, half a year, and then it's put out, and it's like forgotten about the next day.
Yeah, it's true. But the thing is, though, it's like that's one of the things. Yeah, everybody is getting flooded with music, but the difference between them and you is that you're well connected, and you have a lot of artists that they're pretty dope on the album. Well known and new artists. So I think that is going to help out spread the word for people that never even heard of you. Right. And I think it's going to be good, man. I think so.
I mean, that's what I'm hoping. I mean, I'm going all out. Don't get me wrong. Like, even though I have low expectations of the scene we're in right now, I'm still going to do my part. Like, I'm not giving up on the scene. I'm doing a full campaign. I'm going to go out and do promo runs. I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to go to LA. I'm going to do listening parties. Like, I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to, because I'm so passionate about the project, I want people to hear it. Like, I'm going to go all out to hope that people hear it. And I do feel like I have a message in this project. Like, the message is like, to the youth, like, yo, man, like, there's old school guys you haven't heard of that are dope. Yeah. There's a history behind what you're listening to now. Yeah. And to the older guys, like, to the people who are into the 90s stuff, like, yo, some of these new guys are dope too. Yeah, and we can bridge that gap. And I personally feel that there's like a cycle going on where, like, the 90s sound is like making it's resurfacing, and these young cats are like really about that sound, but they don't even know that it's that sound, but it really is very similar, and whatever. And I just feel that if it's dope, it's dope. End of story. If someone tells me, yo, man, I didn't like it, cool, but like, judge it for what it is, let's put it out there, man. I just had fun doing the project, and I have fun. I want to rep what I rep. And I'm gonna, hopefully I can do another project after this, man. But let's see what people think, man.
Well, my last thing I want to say is like, man, listening to Mother Superior, I felt like a little kid, like young high school kid again, man. I was very proud to see that she was part of this album, and man, she still got it, man. The lyrics are still there, man. So that was pretty dope. How hard was it to get in touch with her? Because I mean, it's been so long. Like I really haven't. I mean, I know you have a relationship with her. But I haven't heard. For those that don't know, she's a hip hop legend back in Miami here from the '90s and stuff. And how was it to get her involved to be part of this project too?
I mean, honestly, we just reached. We did a little research on Facebook and found somebody that was connected with her, and they connected us with her. And of course, and I had a relationship with her before. She's in Georgia now, and it was all good. Like she remembers my movement And as soon as I reached out, she was very receptive and she trusted what we were doing. And I did 2 tracks for her. One was a freestyle we already released with Gunplay, which a lot of people didn't really get the record we put out. We did a record over the Drake beat, Started From the Bottom with Gunplay. And the point of that record was that she coined the phrase rock bottom of the map or the bottom. And I wanted to pay homage to her by having her rap on Started From the Bottom. But it flew over everybody's head. Nobody got it, especially nobody outside of like our era and from Miami, like or outside of Miami. They were like, nobody got it. They're like, who's this Mother Superior lady? So that sucked, but it was dope nonetheless. And then we did the record for the project. And if you listen to that record, it was structured around her verse. She ended that record. The record was paying homage to her for what she did for Miami. And
that track is called Home Team, right?
Home Team, yeah. Hashtag Home Team. Because a lot of people from Miami, I mean, I think they do this in a lot of places, but whenever they're repping their people, like on Twitter or whatever, they put hashtag Home Team to rep their city. And yeah, man, I just, like, the thing about me, man, is that I really don't care if people know something or don't know something. If it's special to me or if it's important to me, I'm going to let you know. And hopefully you do the research and say, oh, that was kind of dope. Or that was pretty big back then or whatever. Like, I'm not going to fail my history. Like I'm gonna keep promoting what came before me. I'm gonna, like I'm just like I just feel like history dictates the future, and I'm never gonna forget about the people that came before us or the pioneers during us or before us, and that's what I'm doing with the project.
All right. So the release date one more time, and where people could buy this album.
March 3rd is the release date. And you can buy it on iTunes and on crazyhood.com. And I'm sure there'll be other places. We're going to have pre-orders and orders for the vinyl, double vinyl, cassette tape, limited edition, and CDs.
Awesome, man. Well, props to you and congrats, man.
Thank you, brother. And it's Gamertag, right?
Yeah, Gamertag Radio, yeah.
You can put me on another podcast.
That's a Gamertag Radio.
Okay, shout out. Yo, I'm a big fan. Yo, shout out to Gamertag. And yo, much respect to you guys, too.
All right, awesome, man. All right, thanks, man.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
All right, so we're back here, and that was into DJ EFN. Make sure to follow him on Twitter, DJ EFN, or go to his website, crazyhood.com. Shout out to E, man. All right, so Pawson, tell us a little bit about this new. Well, it's not actually new; it's a remastered version,
remastering, if you will. Yeah, so
of a classic game,
undisputably a classic. Whether you love it or hate it now, we're talking about the original Resident Evil, which came back on the PS1 way back in the '90s, and of course, most people know, pretty much revolutionized.
You're a baby.
Horror.
You were a baby at that time. And Paris was in his teens?
Both literally and figuratively, because I was the biggest wuss about horror games, Resident Evil especially. I remember trying to play every single 1, 2, 3 in Code Veronica, and I would just, every single time, I thought I was ready. Nope, still scared the crap out of me. So it's good. This is kind of like a homecoming for me, coming back to the original thing that scared the crap out of me as a kid. And it's a mixed bag. I mean, this is the classic Resident Evil gameplay where you move like a tank in pre-rendered pretty areas. So it's the original, it's the mansion that everyone knows and loves from the original Resident Evil. So it's you playing as 2 stories, Jill Valentine or Chris Redfield. Whichever one you pick kind of changes the narrative a bit and changes where the characters are placed throughout the mansion. So pretty much just, within first 10 minutes of establishment, kind of throws you in the mansion, says, hey, go figure out what's going on. And I like it because it's old school, like it used to be. There's no hand holding. Your map is something you assemble, going room by room, checking off on a checklist. Like, okay, I've been here, I haven't been here yet. Get a lockpick you play as Jill so you can get through hard doors. It's very retro in terms of the atmosphere still works very well. I like what they did with the lighting and the shadows for this version. Obviously, if you played the GameCube remastered version from back in the day, this is the exact same kind of concept. So building on that predecessor. From what I've seen, there's not really anything new per se. What they've added, they just kind of trimmed out the edges and made it a bit sharper, added that nice little grain filter to make the images like a horror movie. Gameplay wise, like I said, you're a tank, you move, you stop, you pull up the Weaver stance for a second, aim and fire. Of course, it's like old school Doom. You're not really aiming, you're just kind of pointing the gun in the direction of what you're shooting at, and the game kind of takes over for you. So it's okay. It's definitely, if you like that old school Resident Evil feel, it does make you feel very cornered, very threatened. The camera angles are by far your worst enemy, because you'll hear a zombie and it'll be like, well, I think it's around the next corner. Of course not. It's right off screen as you turn the corner and it grabs you and kills you. So it's a lot of you kind of fighting against the camera, for lack of a better term, because it's it's designed not to be your friend. It's designed to create tension on purpose. All the classic jump scares are still there. They still work well. But, I mean, is this a game that is exciting in 2015? I'm not really sold on it, to be honest, because we've come so far in survival horror since the days of this. Obviously, Resident Evil has done its complete thing, but other games have filled that void, taken that place. Especially 2015 looks very promising for Dark Hearth and games as well, because the technology now is caught up with the vision. But, I mean, if you've never played original Resident Evil, this is definitely your best entry point. They changed the control scheme a bit to make it more familiar with the shooter fans. You got your left for aim, right for shoot. The game's pretty streamlined. The only thing I'll say is I don't really think there's any point in playing on the harder difficulty settings. And I'm in the minority here, but just because of the style of the game this was, where it's just like all that means is things kick your ass hard, but it takes way too many bullets to kill things. So it's like, yeah, you have a way to defend yourself, but you kind of really don't, because anything you shoot at is going to take a clip to take down, minimum. So it's more just you running around trying not to get trapped by things. And I would just say go ahead and play it on easy, get that full experience, because for me, if I'm playing a zombie game, I shouldn't have to shoot a zombie 12 times with a handgun to kill it. I should be able to shoot in the head, but you can't do that in this game. It's all based on some old school RNG simulation, but the game is good overall. Music's still good. The game is still well designed for what it is, an exploration simulator almost, with a bunch of really well done puzzles that still hold up well, because they don't make games really this ambiguous and difficult anymore. There'd be a lot more contextual clues to get you through, but I like that because it's like I said, it holds up well. If you like traditional Resident Evil gameplay, if you like everything between 1 and Code Veronica, this is worth playing. If you already own Resident Evil on the GameCube or the Wii, I don't know if you're probably willing to make that jump again. But, I mean, again, this is a game you haven't played in a long time. For $20 on next-gen systems, I think it's worth going back to. Everyone else, I would say see if you can try to find a used copy of the GameCube version, the Wii version, or even the PS1 version. Because, I mean, yes, the graphics are terrible, but at least make sure you like that style of game before you invest the full 20, I would say. But I mean, overall, I'm enjoying my time going through it, and it's definitely a great parallel with the other horror games I'm playing right now. Like, I'm still going through Alien from last year, and it's just fun to get a good experience that most people probably aren't used to, or again, if you haven't touched a horror game in God knows how long, because you said it died with Silent Hill 2 or whatever, this is up your alley. And on that note, I actually wouldn't mind seeing one of the first couple 2 Silent Hill games get a similar treatment. I know they got HD treatment for 2 and 3 on PS3 last gen, but I'd love to see it done for 1 as well, because a lot of these games, really the design can push through the graphical limitations and a lot of the the problems with that era. I think this is a good example of going forward what you can do to what I'd call an outdated gameplay design, but it handles it well because it designed itself well around the control scheme. So, long story short, if you haven't tried this before, it's worth a shot. But I don't know if I'd say jump $20 on it yet, because you may be very frustrated because the game is designed not to be your friend. That's the whole point. It's throwing you into a nightmare. You got to figure out how to get out of it. But it's good old school fun. So I say check it out, honestly. But again, $20. Make sure you like the style of game first. So again, hit up your friends if they got old school versions of the older game. But yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. I look forward to playing through the other campaign now that I've done one of them. But I think it's pretty damn good. And more of these probably wouldn't be that bad, honestly, because they had Resident Evil 0, the remake of the GameCube prequel back in the day. That could work very well. They're on here. Certainly Resident Evil 2 and 3, Good Veronica could use probably some updating. But
they already did that last gen. They don't need to.
They did that, but it was a light gun game, so I don't know. I like the traditional Resident Evil. My actual hope would be Capcom is listening to feedback and is making Resident Evil 7 to be more like the original games, because this is why Resident Evil was so cool back in the day. It just had an aesthetic that it ran with and it worked, and it went back crazy. Everyone knows it's Resident Evil 6. So I'd love to see you return to a smaller form, because I think that's where the better horror is if you minimize things down, kind of like what PT did last year, and stop adding so much and make it more like, all right, it's you versus the environment in the game. That's a better design, and this is a pretty good emulation of that kind of gameplay design. So I think it's a fun thing that, again, check it out.
They bring it back.
Yeah, they definitely bring it back. It's a cool old school survival horror feel, and I got to say, the more you play it, the quicker you get into it. So, like, I know, me and you said, I'll admit I suck at this game, but
I suck. I'm horrible.
It's coming back to me bit by bit. But yeah, once you get the hang of it, it is a pretty cool experience overall. So yeah, check it out.
Did you beat the game completely though?
No, one half of it. I did the Jill Valentine part.
There's a thing at the end. I won't say what it is, but.
Okay. All right.
It's kind of like an Easter egg, kind of like cool.
All right. I got to check it out then.
Cool.
Well, P, look, I just purchased the new Saints Row Get Out of Hell. Right? That's the name of it?
I love that one.
Get Out of Hell.
Yeah. I purchased that game. It's only $20. Now, did I make the right choice?
If you look at it as a $20 purchase, I think so. Don't expect a full-on game from Get Out of Hell. If you're familiar with Saints Row 4, it's pretty much a add-on to it. So think of it as kind of like an expansion onto it.
Okay.
Without going too much into detail and spoiling anything, one of the main characters actually gets kidnapped by Satan. Obviously we're talking Saints Row, so the norm is nowhere, what we're looking into, right? And then Johnny Gat and Kinsey take off to try to stop Satan. The whole plan is for Satan to marry Jezebel and Johnny Gat and have like a power couple in hell, and that's Johnny Gat and Kinsey have to go in. And one of the cool things is you can actually switch back and forth in the single player. You can play single player or you can play co-op. I spent probably 3.5-4 hours last night on Steam with my good friend Dan, and we just played nonstop. Just it was fun. It got to like 12:30, and it was like, damn, we got to go to work in the morning.
Yeah.
One of the really cool parts of Saints Row 4, and they continued it on with Get Out of Hell, is if you remember the orbs from Crackdown.
Yes, my favorite.
It has that mechanic not mechanic, but it has that feature in there where there's these orbs all over the place, and you have to pick them up, and you get those, and those give you the ability to buy unlocks within the game, to strengthen or upgrade your powers and whatnot. Another one of the great features that they introduced in here was flight. So before in Saints Row 4, it was pretty much a Superman or a Hulk jump from the comic books or from the movies, where one big super jump and you're just floating through the air, doing whatever. This one, you actually get wings and you get to maneuver and fly through the city. Now, one of
Nice.
the minor disappointments I had from the game was it's literally the same map from Saints Row 4, but it's like they put a hellskin on top of it. So, you know, parts of the city, instead of being the river or the bay or the ocean that was surrounding the city,
Yeah.
it's lava. You know, there's rocks and mountains, you know, and lava coming through the city. That being said, it's still a hell of a lot of fun. I like I said, I played for 3.5, 4 hours yesterday. Had a really, really good time. I'm actually looking forward to doing it. I'm kind of torn right now whether I go jump on the Crota raid on hard or play Saints Row. Saints Row has always been able to give you that kind of release from the, you know, while it's still, you know, considered a third person shoot 'em up, it brings a whole level of fun to the game with silliness and stuff. So I had a good time with it.
Yeah. I have a question though.
No, go ahead.
I have a question about the soundtrack. Are they using the same songs from 4, or
No.
they added new songs?
Totally different music.
Yeah.
I honestly haven't really heard anything like kind of like music. It's almost kind of like really low down background music.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Okay,
I haven't really focused on it to get, you know, to the point where I can say, oh, well, I know that song, but it's not like in Saints Row 4 where they featured a lot of
songs. Yeah.
and
yeah.
and I don't even think that there's a music playlist that you can go through and play. So I don't think they focused on that. They focused more on
the gameplay,
you know,
and all that
in-game
stuff.
features in play.
In-game.
So
Okay.
I mean, for $20, I think it's I wouldn't say it's a must-have, but if for $20 and if you're a Saints Row fan, I would say get it. It just gives the game such a different dynamic, and we're actually starting to see a lot of games actually take on to that whole flight mechanic thing. You know, where you've got games like Destiny where you can jump and float, and you've got Crackdown where you could jump really high, and if you had the wingsuit, you could fly. Things like this, I really enjoy it, and you can actually upgrade it so you can do like barrel rolls, or you can flap your wings, and you can, you know, fly faster, and you can get really, really creative with some of the flying around and some of the techniques you use. So a lot of you know, they brought over a lot of the same gameplay. A lot of the supers that you use in the game are the same. They just pretty much changed it and gave it an evil name and stuff like that. So instead of, you know, ranking up your meter, it's Satan's wrath. You want to piss off Satan as much as possible, and that's when they start bringing in the bigger, the badder, you know, I guess you could say Devil Patrol or whatever, to come at you. So for $20, and if you like silly fun in a third-person shooter, I'd say get it.
Okay.
You can't go wrong. I like it. I'm having a good time. You know, and again, $20 is really not a lot when you consider it's about 5 or 6 hours. So expect the same amount of gameplay hours as if you were getting like Call of Duty, just without this, you know, just being a third person, and the fact that you can bring a second player for co-op and run around and get stupid. I mean, co-op traditionally is a little bit more fun because you get to bring, you know, someone else into the silliness with you. So for them to be able to do something like that, you know, it adds that change up. So I liked it.
All right. Well, guys, this is my favorite part of the show. It's fan mail time.
Fan mail at gamertagradio.com.
Yes. Yeah. So here, you guys ready? You got your emails ready and everything?
Not even.
All right. Who wants to start? Nobody wants to start.
Jeez, all right.
All right. No, don't worry. Take your time, guys. Take your time.
I think Paris fell asleep.
Powers, are you even there? He's probably
old.
playing with his dog.
No, I'm here. I don't have any emails, so I can't say nothing.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Well, go get it.
No.
All right, so I'm going to read one. This is from Keith. Yeah. Okay. He said this is he said that this is a mini rant, especially for Pete. This is for you, Pete.
Bring it. Let's go. Do
All
it.
right. Okay, what's good, guys? This is Keith, and I just wanted to respond to Pete and his views on Nintendo just going handheld. Not everyone is entitled. Now everyone is entitled to his or her opinion, but I'm a type of Nintendo fan who really could care less about handheld market. As you guys stated, they simply do way too much. So for me, it will be terrible for them to go strictly handheld I really don't know why you want that or even think about that. But he said that he's basing on his top 3 games of 2014, which had which he also agrees. Well, I'm going to keep it shorter. He also agrees with me. He said that for 2015, Zelda, Xenoblade,
No wonder you're
Chronicles
reading
X,
this.
Star Fox, and all these, Splatoon. That's going to be great. Plus, more DLC coming from Mario Kart 8. Again, everybody's entitled, and I agree. Nintendo has their problems, but for them, going strictly handheld will be a tragic to the home console market. Your thoughts, Pete?
Okay, first, you really didn't listen to me because the top 3 games I said was Diablo 3, which is not a shooter. Okay, fine. Yes. And Destiny and Titanfall, fine. That's fine. What was my 4th? What was my runner-up in 4th place? Nidhogg, which isn't... I don't even know what that game is. Okay, so... Yeah. And again, at the end of the day, it's my opinion. I'm not a big Nintendo fan. And until I see Star Fox in my hands and play it, and it looks like fun, I'm not going to get a Nintendo product. That's
this
just my opinion.
This E3, Pete.
Hey, and you know what? And I'll be at E3. And hopefully... it's not a port. Hopefully it's something new with Star Fox, and I want to be doing barrel rolls. But other than that, the only other thing that might pique my interest is what Xenoblade Chronicles X, which I actually talked about with the guys in our chat offline before the show. Besides that, at the end of the day, like Paris said when we closed out last week's episode,
yes,
it's up to the person that's putting over their credit card or they're putting over their cash, whatever makes them happy, whatever they want. It's up to them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I say. It's just my opinion. And if you disagree with it, you disagree with it. At the end of the day, who cares?
Exactly.
I'm not a big Nintendo fan, and that's me.
Yep.
So.
All right. Next person.
We'll agree to disagree.
Oh, for me?
Yeah. Which one is it?
It's from Kenneth about first-person shooters.
Okay. Go for it.
Yeah, so this one's from Kenneth Wozniak. Shout out to him. He donated $10 to us on PayPal. Big ups, we appreciate that. His note said, "Hey, Gamertag Radio, I've been listening for about 1 year and enjoy everyone's opinions. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Here's his question. Why are the big modern first-person shooter games still only shipping with 10 to 13 maps out of the gate? This low number is absurd and ridiculous. There has been a shift and more people are buying for the multiplayer. Also, limited memory is no longer a problem. I want more options and varied experiences. I also laugh at the work the Call of Duty guys put into the DLC, quotation marks. I do not need new textures, all caps, very important. Just give me new layouts or an editor. I hate that the industry sets the baseline. Everyone jumps on the paid DLC train. Is my gripe valid or should I be at the mercy of, well, it's always been done that way? I know you will ask me guys what a good number is, and I feel 20 is a respectable number of maps to ship with. And for comparison, he threw up some numbers. Advanced Warfare had 13 at launch. Battlefield 4 had 10. Titanfall had 15. Halo 4 had 10. So, I mean, I'm a huge FPS guy. I've never really felt that I've been robbed, at least for like the more popular shooters in terms of multiplayer maps, because most of the time, at least for me, if they're well designed enough, and a lot of them are, that they're memorable, and I look forward to playing them again with different strategies. It's not, I love Call of Duty, but a lot of those maps are really just memorizing a route to sprint through and occasionally stopping and killing people on the way between them. And that's fine for that style of game, but certainly for the more ambitious shooters, the larger ones like the Battlefields and the Halos, but they incorporate vehicles, that's really tough to nail down map design. And I feel like in those two cases, Bungie and EA have done a great job in the past with level design. So for me, I never really had that problem. Maybe maybe some B, C rated shooters out there have had some crap thrown on there, but if we're talking about the big boys, I've never really felt like I was cheated. I agree that I do think the DLC is absurd and it's way too overdone now, and I do miss more single-player based first-person shooters, if not ones that let you unlock content and not sell you content. But that's just me. Paris, Pete, I know you guys are big FPS guys too. Do you guys have thoughts on how many maps you think are in modern games and if that's fair or not?
I don't know.
I
don't know. If we're stuck on the minimum maximum 4 DLCs, every quarter or whatever.
Yeah.
And if DLC is going to be like this, I mean, if it's the standard, I can't remember a game dropping more than 10 to 15 maps in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we're going back to Call of Duty 4.
I'm even thinking time splitters, like way back in the day when that was like selling feature for shooters to be competitive from each other was how many maps can we have? And now it's more.
I mean, go back to the Ghost
design.
Go back to Ghost Recons. And yes, limited memory isn't as big of an issue, but now with games being that much more detail rich with environments and destructible environments, moving concepts, you know, you have we don't have as much limited memory as we did before, but those new maps take up space. So there still might be a limited, you know, internal memory issue with how much you can load up. I can't remember 10 to 15. I can't remember games with more than 10 to 15 maps at launch in a long time. And I'm trying to go back to as far back as Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, which was one of my favorites. I don't think it had that many. Or the Rainbow Sixes. I can't recall them having that much more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe my memory's just shot from too much drinking over the years, but
no, I mean, I'm with you, Pete. That to me, it's always been the kind of baseline average. Now, certainly we get pissed if there's less than 10. Well,
yeah, now if they want to add more, we're not going to say no to that, but I think it's become the law of average, and that's just what it is.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let me go read one more. Well, actually, this is a tweet. This is for Paris.
Oh, damn.
This is from 24K. Yo, this year Paris has been speaking Bibles. I agree 99.9% with him. 343 is ruining my game. Destiny is pointing my marriage. Paris, your thoughts?
Well, obviously, I somewhat agree with that. I mean, you know, I've obviously gotten some hate tweets and messages and all about my comments on Halo, but
pay for tweets. That's what.
You know what? I just stand by it.
Yeah, it's all good, right?
Yeah, you know, I feel, you know, that beta isn't or wasn't what I wanted it to be, and I hope it improves by the time Halo 5 comes out in November. I'll say again, I'm still going to get it because I'll play the campaign regardless, but multiplayer, I mean, I'm not
huge question mark.
Yeah, it's a question mark.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Well, unless you want to say something, Paris, no?
Nope.
No? Okay, cool. We'll wrap it up then. All right, guys, head over to gamertagradio.com. Put your comments and feedback. Listen to our past episodes. And give us a call, 786-273-7GTR. That's 786-273-7GTR. When you send an email to us, please make sure to say where you're from. I would love to know like the location where people are downloading our show and stuff, man. So also international listeners, send us some emails, man. Send an email to fanmail@gamertagradio.com. And also remember to donate. PayPal account is fanmail@gamertagradio.com. And I think we're going to wrap it up, man. So unless you guys want to say anything else before we finish?
I think we covered it. I think we're good.
We're good?
It's a long show.
Well, shout out to EFN. Make sure to check out his tracks. He's going to be releasing tracks every Wednesday until March when his album Another Time releases. So make sure to support. And that's it. Until next time, we are out. Peace.
See you.
There.
Download the Gamertag Radio app for iOS, Android, and Windows Phone. It's free. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and Spreaker. Be sure to like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Tune in next week. Thanks for listening.